Hi, everyone. Today's episode will contain some strong language and sensitive themes that may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer and listening discretion is advised. What's going on, everyone? We are back with a brand new episode of Beacon, and as you notice, I didn't say a number because I really don't know anymore what the hell number we're on. I still have the last episode in my files waiting to upload. But hello, guys, what's going on?
He has already jumped ship. It's not even game 10.
Do you blame him after what we've seen in the past couple weeks for the Penguins?
Hey,
Yeah,
but hey, you guys did call it that Pittsburgh was going to end the winning streak for Colorado.
I
They
bet my
did.
whole podcasting career on that, and guess what? We shot him
They
out.
did, in fact.
Tristan Jarry.
Yeah. What was the next game like for the Penguins?
There was the next game, didn't happen. They haven't played yet. So we're gonna get into today all that stuff with the Penguins, all the disappointment. We'll talk about what's going on with the Ottawa Center situation. But first, unfortunately, we don't really have an easy way to go about this, so we're just gonna jump into it. So I'll kind of prelude us, and we'll go from there. Over the past weekend or so, there was a tragic event that kind of just happened overseas in England, the EIHL, I believe it's called. Former Penguins player and prospect Adam Johnson was involved in an honest collision with an opponent. The skate blade struck his neck and it cut him on the ice. He was rushed to medical, but unfortunately, they could not revive him and he passed away. Just an absolutely awful situation. Our thoughts go out to the Johnson family, as well as all the players and linesmen and all the staff and fans involved there. There's no easy way to unpack this, so guys, what are your thoughts immediately following?
It's really tough for somebody. I genuinely don't remember watching him play because I'm not necessarily a Penguins fan. I've seen him play in Wilkes-Barre, obviously, after seeing the years that he spent in the league. I just really appreciate the celebration that the NHL and every single league gave for him. It's just going with the situation. I don't want to touch it whatsoever because it's just messy. Um, I just think that it's an absolute shame that something like this had to happen for proper safety measures to be put in place for players. You're going to see it now that the EIHL is mandatory neck protection starting January 1st in the middle of this season. AHL teams, Kyle Dubas has said that the affiliates of the Penguins are mandating neck protection now, and he is strongly urging the NHL squad to do so. The only reason it's not mandated is because he cannot mandate it according to the NHLPA. Um, it's a shame that something tragic like that has to happen for people just to be smart and protect themselves. Um, but he got to live his dream and play in the NHL, and that's the best thing that happened to him. So he was not the best player in the world, but when you say that you played 3 solid seasons in the NHL, even whether it was on or off, you're one of the best players to ever play the game.
Yeah, listen, everything I've heard about the guy, he seems like a really good guy. In fact, I was told deliberately before the show, my fiance wanted to bring up that she had met him on several occasions at fan meet and greets with her friends as well. And she said he was one of the nicest players she'd ever met. Her friends as well said the same thing. Like he's just apparently always went out of his way to talk to fans to make sure they were comfortable. It wasn't just a fan meet and greet to him because he loved hockey that much. And listen, he loved hockey so much he went overseas when his NHL career ended. You know, he didn't have to keep playing. At this point, he'd made his money. He could retire, but he wanted to go over and keep playing hockey, and it's admirable. And it's a really tough thing because you know you read the story. He'd just gotten engaged, and I guess the only thing I'll add on is kind of a good note to the end of this kind of somber conversation is he scored his first and I believe only NHL goal. Might have just been his first, whatever it was, against his hometown Minnesota Wild. So it's pretty cool. Sam Lafferty and who else assisted it? Zach Aston, yes. So yeah, our thoughts are with his family, and then I just want to point out like there's a whole big online discourse, and if you haven't seen it already, you do well to avoid it. Do not look it up until the whole thing is settled. But myself personally, I don't know if I speak for both of you. My thoughts go out to Matt Petgrave, the player who was involved in it. There's been a lot of discourse about it being accidental versus intentional. Uh, Listen, I'm usually fiery. I'm not going to be pissed off about this. It's just stupidity. Nobody goes into a hockey game thinking, yeah, I'm going to intentionally skull kick a guy with my knife skates. It's just.
So what really helps? I saw the whole tape before it was removed. One, don't look it up. It's not easy to watch. I'll just say that right now. It was tough. I saw the whole thing. It was worse than the Buffalo Sabres goalie in the '80s. It was worse. It was bad. Um, that's as far as I'll go into talking about it. But um, the team of Johnson said that even on the ice, they knew that it wasn't intentional. Like they saw the collision beforehand. Because if you were to have watched even before it got really bad, um, like there was a knee on knee collision on a separate hit that sent his leg up. That's not intentional. That is literally the definition of the worst possible thing that could have happened. And there's no way that could have. The only thing that could have been prevented is if the players didn't collide, and at that point, you're just not playing the game. As weird as it is to sound like that, it's like you watching it. It's like he didn't have to go for that hit. It's like, well, it wasn't a dirty hit either that he was going for. It just ended terribly. The the worst that it could have happened. Or he just refused to admit that such a bad accident could happen.
And just to kind of compound it too, it's all magnitude of things. Like if you watch the hit, you see, as you guys have said, he's the Petgrave, his leg comes up because the guy in front of him got hit, and you could see he kind of just listen. Not to be that guy. These guys are not NHL players. They're not that skilled where they can control their body at all times. They're in this league for a reason, right? They're semi pros, so they're not elite in that sense. And he's like a normal person. He flung up. At the absolute worst, you could say maybe he embellished to try to draw a penalty. He did not try to scissor kick somebody with knife shoes. I want to make that so clear. I don't even think he tried to draw a penalty. I think it was just genuinely a bad hit that got unfortunate circumstance. But if you want to draw that line, sure. I don't understand the thought process.
There's just a lot to be there's just a lot to be said that when something so weird and tragic happens, everyone just wants to have a concrete answer. There isn't
And
one. It was a discussion worth having 40 years ago.
yeah, very true.
Yeah, that's how it is now. As somebody who, my dad, when I played hockey, my dad made me wear neck guard. Um, and it was the one that I had was a separate piece of clothing. Now they make, sorry, my cough is still here for some reason.
Same.
Um, Nowadays they're more of an option of yes, they can be removable and it's just a strap that goes around. Or they have that are built into Under Armour, underwear. Yeah, and it's just like you said, an extended turtleneck that just goes up and it has better padding and anti-cut. Well, not anti-cut because you could still cut through it, but like, something there. It's like a cup. Like you get hit in the jock strap, you're still gonna hurt. Obviously, if you get a blade to the neck and you're wearing a neck guard, you're still gonna get cut, but you're not gonna have the worst happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just
But the one that I wore and keep in mind, this is like over 10 years ago because I haven't played hockey since I was like 13. Um, those ones were a lot thicker and a lot more constraining. Um, so like I can understand people not necessarily wanting to have worn them, but it didn't constrict my breathing. It just felt not comfortable. Or you just might not have been wearing
you
it
never
right.
you never wore a turtleneck that was too tight. Like hello, I'll kind of cap end this conversation because we've kind of talked about it. But if you want to read anything, don't go looking at social media. There's a lot of talking heads out there. I'm not even gonna name them. Just don't listen to the idiots who claim to have played the game and have only ever played beer league. Or the random NHLer who played a couple hundred games and had 13 points in his career. Instead, go to the Athletic, read Tom Burrow's piece about the whole thing. If you want to read more about the judicial side of it, what's going to happen now. There's also a great piece. I think it was Pierre LeBrun. I don't know. that interviewed Clint Malarchuk. Malarchuk talked about his own experience. He was the goalie in the 80s who had his neck cut. Really good article. Interesting to see what he went through, come out on the other side of it, and what players who happen to be in that situation could expect. Talks a lot about PTSD, which is a really interesting factor in this. But yeah. All right. Well, there's quite literally no way for me to segue off of that. So I'm just going to. Um, the other
Segue
piece,
is to just stop talking about it and to talk about
quite
something else.
literally, we're gonna move on to the week in hockey that was. The Penguins Penguined. They there's a really good tweet I have to find. The deserved Twittometer, and it's captioned with I'm just gonna display it so okay, so here's the Twitter handle. Oh sorry, X handle. His name is Matt and his at is Yinzer with 3 Z's and 2 R's. And it's Penguins deserve to win a meter 4 straight games in a row, way above. And it just captioned with experienced Penguins hockey because they lost every single game that they were supposed to win. I've been a long noted Tristan Jarry hater. Before that, I was a Tristan Jarry fan club founding member when he was with the Oil Kings. Let that be known. I liked Tristan Jarry for the first part of his career. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. We know what happened with the Penguins. It's what are we, week 3. We got other things to talk about, but Tristan Jarry is going to either be the guy who takes the Penguins back to the playoffs, maybe takes one last dance, or the guy who cuts the music out early. What did I say during the preseason predictions? The exact same
Same
goddamn
thing.
line. It's going to come
That's
down to him.
$2. You
Yeah,
want to put an extra quarter in?
here's a cool fact. Tristan Jarry, leads the league in shutouts. Tristan Jarry is also in the bottom percentile in goals expected versus goals saved on average. He's not a tenable goalie. I'm going to say this one more time. I will put all of my chips that I don't have. I will put this non-branded peanut butter cup all in. That I would rather, in a playoff situation right now, take Alex Nedeljkovic than Tristan Jarry because I don't think he's capable of it. And I don't know what the solution is because there's not anybody readily made in the AHL. So we may have to go out and get a tandem for him because I just don't know. You can't get rid of him. He's signed till forever. He's signed till everybody else retires. So it's either you bite the bullet and take terrible trade value like the Kings did with the Cal Pedersen, or you go out and get a tandem for him and make him a 1A, 1B. Not a great option either way. I'll take my opportunities to rag on Jerry as much as I can. There is one more player I need to go after. I'm a founding member of this gentleman's fan club. I made my gamer tag him. His jersey is on my beautiful Ryan Reynolds poster. I have a shirt because I will forever love that he was a Penguin that says Big Jeff Carter, score goals, pound beers. Jeff Carter has the same amount of points as Chris Lantz does, as you do, Adam, as I do, which is 0. He has 0 points. It is he's finished. He's cooked. It's done. He either you have to trade him and take pennies on the dollar, or you have to sit him. Mike Sullivan, I'm talking to you. So you have 2 options. I want to make something very, very clear because unless Jeff Carter mysteriously gets a Marion Hossa type allergy to his equipment, you need to do something very specific, and that is sit him down. Mike Sullivan, I'm talking directly to you, my friend. Your ass is on fire right now, and if we're in the same position and Jeff Carter has like 8 points going into December, Mike Sullivan's done. His message isn't clear. He might not get fired, but he's done. He's done here. Like, what is his message? Let's play the veterans over the guys who deserve it, like Zahorna and like Lars Eller and Drew Connor, over the guys who've earned a spot. I don't know. I'm over it. I'm over the Jeff Carter experience. I love Jeff Carter. I will forever be grateful that he was a Penguin. Get him off my fucking hockey team. I'm good on the Penguins stuff. I just want to say, well, like, Adam, what a dapper polo you've got on today.
This isn't even a polo. This is a sweater and a polo underneath. I'm
Let's
not gonna
do the
lie.
fit
I
check.
came home from work and I was so tired I didn't even want to get changed. I'm still wearing my work clothes.
To our audio listeners, Adam is currently sporting a fall 2023 must-have. It's a gray, white, and brown striped polo with a blue edge and ensconced above a gray collar. It is also
when the weather drops below 50, my teaching attire is nothing but sweaters and flannels because miss me with a button-up shirt and a tie bullshit.
It's also the aesthetic of I drive a subcompact and go shopping at my favorite discount grocery store to get half off baked beans on a Sunday morning.
You had everything except subcompact and baked beans. So, jokes on you. I don't wake up on Sunday mornings. I sleep in.
You said I don't wake up.
I just don't wake up. I wake up Monday. Sunday is a hibernation day. I have a weekly coma on Sundays.
Love that for you. All right, so I was gonna have us talk about the Senators today, but there's a whole mess going on, so we're gonna save that for next week when everything is kind of settled down.
Yeah,
Yes,
if you don't know, do some research. Everyone's heard Shane Pinto getting 41 game suspension, and everyone's like, "What the heck?" Um, yeah. Apparently, it goes against the terms of service of both the betting app he used and the NHL for other people to place bets on his behalf. Mm, on his app.
interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
that was the big hubbubaloo, at least with that part of things. So
Man just
get a
said
read on that.
hullabaloo.
If you want another good listen to it, listen to the Dangle podcast on it. They always do good write-ups. I love their podcast.
Also, just a heads up, if you're I don't think I need to tell anybody to listen to him because I'm pretty sure all of America listens to him, but if you're a Penguins fan, make sure you give the Pat McAfee show a listen today. He had on Gary Bettman sporting a Crosby cutoff. Make sure you give it a listen.
Oh shot. I
I
watched his Austin Matthews bit and it was actually pretty good. I
I
think Pat McAfee single-handedly is gonna double the NHL's viewing this year.
I've watched Pat McAfee off and on for years, but I've just recently started listening to him hardcore every day. Man, I think back. Have you guys ever seen the Palomalu skit?
Yes.
Where
Yes.
he's like, okay, so Chris, he's talking about how he had to go. Please go watch it. All you have to do is type in Pat McAfee, Troy Polamalu, in the C gap. That's all you have to type in. But it was from like 2019. He talks about how Troy Polamalu, how when they played the Steelers 100% play, they had an opening in the C gap. So they called a fake field goal. He was going to run it and score his first touchdown in his hometown, Pittsburgh. He's from Plume, Pennsylvania. It's 20 minutes outside of it. He sees Polamalu walk over to the C gap, and he calls an audible. And the coach is like, "Yeah, good job. What'd you see out there?" He's like, "What did I see? I saw Troy Polamalu in the fucking C gap." And his guest goes, "Yeah, you saw the angel of death waiting there." And he's like, Ed Reed. All due respect to Ed Reed, he's like, Ed Reed would like, I'd be scared of Ed Reed. Troy Polamalu would take years off of my life. So please watch it if you haven't seen it. It's hilarious.
But his Head and Shoulders commercials were always my favorite when he was in the
Yeah,
NFL.
love me some Troy Polamalu. And we're gonna get in this next week. We're not gonna get in this week because we're on a time crunch, and also there's just we gotta wait till all that comes out. But the Senators got fined a first round draft pick for not reading the terms and conditions on a player's trade contract, but the Blackhawks barely got dinged for covering up sexual misconduct. You do with that information what you will. We'll get in next week, but so let's do a quick round of trivia. Would you guys like to do? Oh my god, I can't talk. I'm still got a cough too. Would you guys like to do a puckdoku board today?
We can. I also do have one trivia question for you
All right,
guys
well,
because
shoot
it
your
came
trivia
through my
question first.
feed.
Let's hear it.
All right. There is only one NHL player to have a 100-point season while being on the league's last place team. Twice. This person has done it twice. Only NHL player to have a 100-point season while on the last place team twice. Who is it?
Is it a current player?
No, Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. Okay, so who didn't win a cup? So I think that's what it's gonna come down to.
Oh, he's won some cups in his career,
Okay.
but throughout his career, he was on some pretty shit teams.
So that doesn't. So it's not Joe Thornton.
Has Joe Thornton even had a 100-point season?
I think so. He had a 68 assist season. I'm pretty sure. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. Who's played for some really awful teams?
I will give you one hint. This direct NHL team does not exist, but the franchise still does.
Winnipeg,
Not Winnipeg,
Arizona.
not Arizona.
Who the hell? Quebec.
It was a Quebec player.
Okay. It's not Peter Forsberg.
It happened in 1989-90, and it happened in 1990-1991 seasons. It was back-to-back seasons where the team was dead last, and he had over 100 points. Both seasons.
It couldn't have been Joe Sakic.
It was Joe Sakic.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, he
That's a
had
good one.
102 points in 1989-90 while they were dead last, playing in all 80 games, and he had 109 points in all 80 games in the 1990-91 season.
Okay. All right, we'll play some puckdoku.
All right, let's just do one as a squad.
Would you guys like to do yesterday's or today's?
I did not do either, so it doesn't matter.
Let's do. Let me see. Okay, so today we've got. I'll tell you the categories. We can kind of decide. Let's do yesterday's because today's is like Ottawa, Minnesota, Buffalo. Yeah, let's do yesterday's. I pulled my boards. Yesterday's is Toronto, and I know we can at least get a few of those. All right.
I got one right away. Somebody share that screen.
All right. So who wants to take the first square?
So, I will, but just for our listeners' sake, rows. Well, columns. We've got the New York Rangers, the Dallas Stars, and a 20-plus goal season. Rows, Maple Leafs, Capitals, and then Florida.
Walt Podubny reaches 2 of these squares. I can tell you because I used him yesterday.
I want Walt Podubny in the Toronto Maple Leafs 20-plus goal season column.
Could you possibly take him in the top left square?
I don't want to, but okay.
Come on. Okay, you're gonna do it. All right, perfect. Because I have a really. What are you doing? PODD. You've used him 100 times. Also, shout out to Adam. Okay, well, I don't know if my guess is gonna work because you put it in that square.
There you go.
I was gonna say Babe Die, who had no guesses, by the way.
Babe Die.
Yeah, I was gonna say Babe Die. See, if Adam just flipped his square, we'd have the entire top row done.
Nope, I don't want to. I want to make it original.
That's good. All right, fine. I'll take a hard one then. Give me bottom right, and I want Victor Kozlov. Victor Kozlov, KOZ.
I've got one. Capitals 20 goal season. I want Tomas Fleischmann. TOMS Fleischmann.
I'll handle the tough one because I've got a really good one for the bottom left and the middle bottom as well. If you need it taken care of. Are you doing this one or am I doing this one? Let me get Tanner Glass. I mean, it could have been well put up, but
Nope. Get better.
Trying to see if I can help you out here. I've got one for the top left if you don't get it. Oh, it's a 0-0 too. Carl Voss, VOSS.
I've got one for the Rangers caps. Nick Kyprios, Kypreos.
Nick Kyprios, that's a good one.
One, okay. I was expecting like sub one when that name came to me.
Yager might be high, but that's a good check. Okay, not bad. I have an answer for the bottom square. If nobody else wants the bottom square, I'll take it. But if you want to go for it, think about the guy who I had was the Wizard. That's who I had down. Well, I also have. I don't know if Adam's able to stay for one more, but I have a really good board I'd like us to play after this if possible.
I won't be able to say.
That's fine.
I could tell you right now. I could fill up this board.
Same. Okay.
Greg Adams.
Craig Adams. I had Ray Whitney. What was he?
Greg.
Greg Adams.
Greg Adams.
What was he ranked?
I don't know.
It would have been the first one because Florida wasn't around that long.
Yeah. Very nice, very nice. I will take that 0.3.
I will take that. I mean, we could have. I mean, honestly, Carl Voss ended up being better than Babe Die, so it's fine.
All right. Well, if you're gonna share your board, I can go because I've gotta go the heck to sleep.
Chris, would you like to give the audience a bonus border now? All right, real quick before Adam goes, quickly before we end the show, best Halloween candy, worst Halloween candy. Chris, go first.
Twix.
And worst.
Sweet tarts.
Sounds good.
Oh,
Adam,
I love sweet tarts, but my favorite one, Kit Kats.
worst.
Anything marshmallow.
Okay. Best almond joy. The worst, a plain milk chocolate Hershey bar. All right. Anyways, well, I hope you all had a very spooky and tricktacular other Halloween adjectives. Halloween. We'll be back next week and hopefully have a bit longer show. But as they say in Transylvania, um,
Blah, blah, blah.
get your garlic. Yeah. All right. See you.
I'm
And we're out.
dying over here, man. All right, anyway, I'll see you.
Goodbye.